noticed something going on that I wanted to speak about this morning. Even in the church, it seems like no one wants to gain spiritual maturity. Everybody wants to stop at salvation. In life, everybody wants to be just immature adults. And that's fine, but they want to assume themselves like teenage school mobs to try to suppress other adults from their maturity. Unfortunately, for those of us who knows that growing up cannot be suppressed, you may have had some type of problem mentally, psychologically, emotionally that stop your growth. But for normal adults, we're going to grow up anyway. We are going to assemble ourselves together and understand the immaturity that you are implementing towards us and process it like adults do. So you are not going to change the culture of growing older and mentally, physically, and emotionally see, mature. And that doesn't come with finances. So suppressing a person's finances, like the child that you are, dismantling someone's relationships, career, like the children that you are, it's not going to affect adults from growing up and actually being a responsible adult, which you aren't. And this is why you implement that now that you're in, I guess, positions of so called power. So that's a purpose for saying everything. And at some point, I realized, just as a mature woman, that there's things you're not supposed to be wearing spiritually. There's a growth that you're supposed to be attaining, and dealing with very immature people during that process, with a fear of anyone being promoted, a fear of anybody striving in society now that they are functioning in a body or a position. And I said to myself, wow, this is scary. you know, we have a bunch of children at right now that is running our society and projecting on adults that look at me. I'm in a position of power right now. I have the ability to destroy your life, gossip about you, say things that are not true. When in actuality, these people have no power. These people have no authority. But these people have functioned and operated at such an immature place for so long that anything or any position can be treated recklessly. Actually, positions of leadership, and it's really, really scary. And all of the symbology is just signs of immaturity. If you have a political agenda, if be an adult and do it the way that it's always been done. Communists are extremely dangerous. Do you know how that goes with children? If you've had any at any level and not tried to be one of them most of your life on their level, it's if my sandbox, I built a castle and you can't because you don't have the mental maturity and giftings to do that, to apply yourself responsibly enough to construct something. I'm gonna tear it down in an attempt to lower your standards to the pile of sand that they piled up. Unfortunately, adults are just going to rebuild again, and mature people are all ultimately going to reestablish again. So whether it is in the church or government or just your local communities at large with the leadership, it's like just hold out, because once children destroy everything, they're going to need adults again. When they no longer can feed one another, when they no longer can build a functional society, when they no longer can do what children cannot do and immature adults can't, they're going to need us. And that's when we as adults will rise up and just begin to pick up where we left off and unfortunately rebuild our lives again. They can brand immaturity as whatever they want to. Racism, oh, the church is not teaching Christ, homosexualism or homophobia, whatever. Immature adults who don't want to grow up and face the reality. They want to impose some constant fantasy for whatever little time that they have until it all fall apart. And trust me, it will, in all levels. And so just hold out. You know how children are when they catch tantrums. They can be very destructive, especially when they become a certain size. However, the body growth is not equal to the mind growth. So they have unit time out, but they're going back. You know how children are when they want to take on mommy and daddy's role and take over. They feel like, oh, I'm going to wear daddy's shoes as a judge, and I'm going to buy a home and control mommy's house. And I'm going to just play this role and look like an adult, a functional adult in society. And years later, lives are destroyed. We saw it before in history. It repeats itself. So, and they're expressing their little opinions and trying to express how much of an adult or how mature they are, and they are just open to anything. And it's where we are right now. So, listen, they are trying to hold on, but adults who are on welfare did not establish the adult necessary economic structures to be able to produce it. So their time is winding up.